Now, the impending start of Phase 3 is welcome news for most, if not all of us. Those in retail, F&B and the tourism sectors are hopeful of a boost to sales or footfall by 10 to 20% as we see gatherings of up to 8 people allowed come December 28th, as well as a capacity increase in attractions and malls as well. Well, let's find out more about Phase 3's possible impact on the SMEs. President of the Association of Small and Medium Enterprises, Kurt Wee, joins me now. Hi, Kurt. As Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong said in his address 2 days ago, Phase 3 means that Singapore will end the year with some good news. But what are the range of reactions that you're hearing from your association members?
I think businesses welcome it as a positive signal. The increase from 5 headcount to 8 and then capacity to 65%. It's all very, very good signal for an increase of capacity so that restaurants, retailers and F&B operations can do more. And I think it comes in a very timely period where we're going to have the New Year celebrations as well as the extended holidays. But just to remind everyone that, safe distancing and health and safety measures are still very, very important. We don't want to go 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, as we can see in some countries they've got new waves. Yeah. So it's very important that I think as we have the slight loosening in Phase 3, everyone would still keep up on the health and safety, social distancing rules and regulations.
Well, I'm glad to hear that your members are feeling positively about this news. Are they even more optimistic about the rolling out of vaccines next year? Because that's obviously a game changer.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say there is optimism, but I think it's a more positive signal towards the right direction and the right trajectory. I don't think this is going to make up huge losses that businesses suffered during the circuit breaker period and the onslaught of the last 8-9 months. So businesses have a mild optimism towards a level of plateau and mild recovery, but I wouldn't say that it is a great optimism or anything like that, because you still have the substantial part of the customer segments, which are the tourists, the foreign traffic that comes in and out of Singapore, that's still not happening at this point in time. And my suspicion is that it won't gain momentum until probably the second or third quarter next year in those areas.
Well, your association's vice president already noted that the changes announced have been incremental, but of course, they still make a difference. So what type of businesses would stand to gain the most from Phase 3 of reopening?
I think if you look at the frontline service businesses, especially the restaurants, F&B, catering companies, even companies that provide services to groups, they can now do an expanded from 5 to 8. That's an increase of about 60% from 5 to 8. Although as compared to, and even if you compare to previous pre-COVID days in restaurants or in F&B operations, 8 is pretty good number to set as an upper limit, and that gives even a family of 5, 6, 7 ability to go out and have meal together, and people can have a good sized meetings together. So that's good news for some of the frontline service organizations. But I think for the nightlife industry and some of these entertainment nightlife outlets, it's probably still some months away. The government have announced the willingness to do some pilot projects there, and we hope that over the next 3-4 months, these pilot projects can be expanded to include the industry as a whole in. But we are very cautious with how things are moving, because it's really more important to move with caution and care rather than to try and rush and then end up 2 steps back when you take 3 steps forward.
Good point. Well, what are the next steps for SMEs as they prepare for Phase 3? For instance, I assume some of them may have let go of staff. Are they looking to rehire people again?
I think the next steps, a lot of SMEs have actually utilize the digital platforms for some of their communications, their meetings, their work process. If those that haven't, they should really do so. I think the next step is really for SMEs to start thinking about new ways of generating revenues, because some of the old business models may not work like before, and the market may respond differently. The market is more responsive digitally and more responsive from a distance at this point in time. So how do you generate new revenues with your old base of productive services or products or machines? And I think that's what businesses really have to think about. The other thing that we like businesses to consider in the medium term and towards the longer term is really the impact of some of the foreign markets because of the RCEP agreement that Singapore has signed. And think about where, as countries open up, how are you going to then be able to latch on to the international trade bandwagon as quickly as possible. So those are some of the things that are quite essential for businesses to start preparing, to prepare for recovery, to prepare for gradual reopening between countries. That's going to be really, really important. I think businesses may start hiring only after economic momentum picks up, and I don't see that happening until second or third quarter next year.